Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're going to be taking a deep dive into something that's pretty essential for any e-bike owner out there.
Absolutely.
The battery. We're going way beyond just the basics today
Yeah.
to help you really understand the ins and outs of all the different battery types
Right.
so you can, make a smart decision for your next e-bike or for your current one if you're thinking about upgrading.
For sure.
So the source material we're looking at today is called The Comprehensive Guide to E-Bike Battery Types, Powering Your Electric Ride.
Great.
It's super detailed, written by K.R. Endry
Mm,
and published just this year, January 28th.
gotcha.
We'll be sure to link to it in the show notes.
Great.
You know what got me thinking about batteries? I was riding my bike the other day,
Oh, yeah?
and I was going up this hill, and it was a beast.
Yeah.
It was one of those hills where you're just like, why am I doing this to myself?
Yeah.
And as I'm, struggling,
Yeah.
this guy just like breezes past me on an e-bike, looking totally relaxed.
Smooth sailing.
And it just hit me. Like,
Yeah.
the battery is such a game changer.
It really is. And that's why it's so important to choose the right one. It
Totally.
really is the heart of the e-bike.
Okay, so let's talk about these battery options.
Okay.
What's the most popular type these days? What are most e-bike riders using?
Most riders are going with lithium-ion batteries,
Okay.
often shortened to Li-ion.
Lion.
You'll
Yeah.
see that a lot.
I've seen that.
They're lightweight, which is a huge plus, obviously.
Decent.
And they can hold a lot of energy
Okay.
relative to their size.
That's good.
And they also have a pretty decent lifespan. So
So they check a lot of boxes.
they do. They're kind of the workhorse for most e-bikes.
Makes sense.
For everyday use, commutes, even longer rides, they can handle it.
Okay, Li-ion batteries sound like, kind of the default choice.
Yeah.
But what about for riders who want to explore other options?
Oh, there are definitely some alternatives.
What else is out there?
You've got lithium iron phosphate,
Okay.
also known as LiFePO4.
Like PO4, got it.
You've got nickel metal hydride, or NiMH.
Okay.
And then, of course, the old reliable lead acid batteries.
Right, so let's break these down one by one.
Sounds good.
Starting with those LiFePO4 batteries.
All right.
What makes them stand out? Why would someone choose those over Li-ion?
Well, LiFePO4 batteries really shine when it comes to stability and safety.
Okay.
They're much more resistant to overheating than standard Li-ion batteries, which is a big deal.
And why is that so important?
Well, it means they're much less likely to cause a fire,
Oh,
especially in extreme temperatures.
so that's a big safety advantage.
Huge safety advantage.
All right.
Plus, you get a much longer lifespan compared to Li-ion.
Oh, that's interesting.
They can handle a lot more charge cycles before they start to degrade, so you're not replacing them as often.
So it sounds like for someone who really prioritizes safety
Yeah.
or maybe lives in a place with really hot summers or really cold winters,
Right, exactly.
LiFePO 4 might be worth considering.
Definitely something to think about.
But I imagine there's got to be some trade-off, right?
You're right, there's always a trade-off.
What's the catch?
The main trade-off is that they are a bit heavier
Okay.
than their Li-ion counterparts.
So that's something to keep in mind.
Yeah, it really depends on the rider and their needs.
All right, makes sense.
If weight is a major concern, it might not be the best fit.
Got it.
But if safety and longevity are top priorities, then it might be worth the extra weight.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, what about those NIMH batteries?
All right, NiMH.
I'm not as familiar with those.
Yeah, they've been around for a while,
Okay.
but they're not quite as popular as the lithium-based options.
So what's the story with them?
They're kind of like the middle child of the battery world.
The middle child. Okay.
Not as powerful or long-lasting as the lithium options, but they do have one major advantage.
What's that?
They're much more environmentally friendly.
Oh,
You won't find any toxic heavy metals in these batteries,
interesting.
so that's a big plus for eco-conscious riders.
So if someone's, really concerned about the environmental impact,
Exactly.
NIMH might be a good option.
It's definitely something to consider.
And I'm guessing there are some downsides too.
There are a few.
What are the drawbacks?
Well, if you're looking for raw power and range,
Yeah.
they might not be the best fit.
Okay.
They're not going to give you that extra boost.
I see.
Plus, like LiFePO4 batteries, they tend to be on the heavier side.
Okay, so weight is a factor there too.
It is.
And what about their lifespan?
It's shorter compared to lithium-based batteries.
Oh, so not as long lasting.
Not quite as long-lasting, no.
Okay, got it.
So it's really a trade-off, like we said before.
Right, always is.
You're giving up some power and range for those eco-friendly benefits.
Okay, makes sense.
It just depends on what your priorities are.
Makes sense.
Some people are willing to sacrifice a bit of performance for a greener option, and that's perfectly fine.
All right, and finally, we have the lead-acid batteries.
Ah, the classics.
These are the ones that I've definitely heard of before.
Yeah, they've been around forever.
Aren't those the same kind of batteries that are in cars?
That's right.
Okay, so why would you use those in an e-bike?
Well, the main reason is cost.
Okay.
Lead-acid batteries are the most affordable option by far.
So if you're on a budget,
Exactly.
lead-acid might be tempting.
They could be a good entry point,
Makes sense.
especially if you're only planning on short, occasional rides.
I see. So maybe not for the hardcore e-bike enthusiast.
Probably not the best choice for them, no.
But I'm guessing there are some pretty significant downsides too, right?
Yeah, there are a few things to keep in mind.
Like what?
Well, first of all, they're significantly heavier than the other types we've talked about.
Okay, so weight is a recurring theme here.
It is, yeah,
Got it.
especially with lead acid.
Okay.
And then there's the lifespan.
Oh.
It's considerably shorter than the other options.
So you're replacing them more often.
You are.
Okay.
And they also take a really long time to charge.
Oh, that's a pain.
It can be, especially if you're a frequent rider.
So not ideal for someone who's, using their e-bike every day to commute.
Right, exactly.
Okay, so we've got a good overview of the different types of batteries.
Yep.
We've talked about Li-ion, LiFePO4, NiMH, and lead acid.
We covered them all.
But how do we know which one is the right fit for a particular rider?
That's the million-dollar question.
Besides the type itself, what other factors should we be thinking about?
Well, there are a few key things to consider,
Okay, like what?
and it all comes down to your individual needs and priorities.
All right, makes sense.
What matters most to you? Let's start with capacity,
Okay, capacity.
which is basically a measure of how much energy a battery can store.
So bigger capacity, longer rides.
Exactly.
Okay.
And that's where those terms you hear a lot come in.
Okay, what terms?
Ampere hours, or and watt hours, or whoo.
And AMU, got it.
Those are the key metrics for capacity.
Okay. So those tell you how much juice the battery can hold.
Exactly. How much fuel it has in the tank, so to speak.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, I gotta admit, those and E, those always throw me off a little bit.
Yeah, they can seem a bit technical.
So can you break it down for us? Like, what do they actually mean?
Sure. So think of ampere hours, or like the size of your gas tank.
Okay.
A higher rating means your battery can hold more fuel, basically.
Okay, more fuel.
You
So,
can go farther.
okay, so bigger gas tank, you can go longer distances.
Exactly.
Um,
And watt hours, or Hui,
Yeah.
that represents the total amount of energy the battery can deliver.
Okay.
It's kind of like the overall horsepower of your engine.
Okay, so A is like the size of the tank, and A is like how much power.
Yeah, you got it.
All right, that makes a lot more sense.
Good.
So if someone is planning, like a longer ride,
Mm-hmm.
they'd want a battery with higher and weight.
Exactly. The higher the numbers, the more range and power you'll have.
But I'm guessing that also means a heavier battery, right?
Yeah, there's always a trade-off.
There always is.
A larger fuel tank means a heavier battery.
Right, so if you're just doing, quick trips around town,
Yeah.
maybe a smaller battery is fine.
Exactly. You don't need all that extra weight.
Okay, makes sense.
It's all about finding the right balance for your needs,
Got it.
like we've been saying.
Now, what about voltage?
Oh, voltage.
I know that's another important factor.
It is, yeah.
How does voltage affect the e-bike's performance?
So voltage is like the muscle behind your e-bike's motor.
Okay.
A higher voltage means more power,
Okay.
which means faster acceleration
Okay.
and more oomph to climb those hills.
So, like, that guy who passed me on the hill,
Probably had a higher voltage battery. Yeah.
that makes sense.
He was probably flying up that hill.
Yeah, probably.
But, it's important to make sure the battery's voltage is
Yeah.
actually compatible with your e-bike's motor.
Oh, okay.
You want to mismatch them.
So you got to check that.
Yeah, it's important to double check.
So besides capacity and voltage, are there any other things riders should think about when they're choosing a battery?
Yeah, for sure.
What else is there?
Well, weight is a big one,
Okay.
obviously, especially if you have to lift your bike a lot.
Right.
Like onto a rack or upstairs or something.
Makes sense.
Charging time is another one.
Oh, yeah, that's important.
Some batteries charge faster than others.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah, it's a big plus if you're using your e-bike frequently.
Yeah, if you're commuting every day,
Yeah, exactly.
you don't want to be waiting around forever for it to charge.
Exactly.
And of course, durability, right?
Yeah, durability and lifespan are key.
You want a battery that's gonna last.
You want something that can handle a lot of charge cycles
Makes sense.
before it starts to, lose its juice.
Sounds like there's a lot to think about.
There is, but it's not as complicated as it sounds
I hope not.
once you understand the basic factors. It's really just about figuring out what's most important to you.
Right, your priorities.
Exactly.
Okay, so speaking of keeping that battery, healthy and charged,
Mm-hmm.
what are some tips for extending its lifespan? I'm always a little nervous about messing that up.
Don't worry, battery care is simpler than you think.
Okay, that's good to hear.
The golden rule is to use the correct charger
Okay.
for your battery.
So no, like using my laptop charger or something?
No, definitely not.
Okay, good to know.
It can cause overheating or even damage the battery.
So use the charger that came with it.
Exactly.
Okay, what about overcharging? Is that a thing?
Yeah, it's definitely a thing.
Okay, so don't leave it plugged in all the time.
Once your battery's fully charged, unplug it.
Okay,
Leaving it plugged in for long periods can shorten its lifespan.
got it. So don't be lazy.
It's like leaving your phone plugged in all night.
Yeah, I've heard that's not good for your phone battery either.
Exactly. Same principle.
Any other battery care tips?
Yeah, storage is important too.
Okay.
Keep your battery in a cool, dry place.
Okay.
Extreme temperatures can be tough on them.
So like, don't leave it in my car in the summer?
Probably not a good idea.
Okay, good to know.
Especially if you're storing it for a while, like over the winter.
Yeah.
It's best to charge it to around 50% before putting it away.
Oh, interesting. So half charged is the sweet spot for storage.
Yeah, it helps to minimize stress on the battery cells,
Makes sense.
and it'll help it last longer.
Okay, I've also heard that you shouldn't let the battery completely drain.
That's true, especially with lithium-ion batteries.
Okay.
They like to be topped up regularly.
Okay.
Think of it like this. Constantly draining it fully and then recharging it to 100% puts a lot of stress on it.
So it wears it out faster.
Yeah, it's like running the marathon every day.
Okay, so better to keep it charged up.
Exactly.
And what about like regular maintenance checks?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
What should we be doing?
It's always a good idea to give it a visual inspection every now and then.
Yeah.
Look for any signs of damage, like swelling or leaks,
Okay.
and make sure the terminals are clean.
Those are the metal connectors, right?
Yep, you can just wipe them down with a dry cloth.
Okay, easy enough.
And if you notice anything unusual, like it's discharging really quickly,
Yeah.
or there are strange noises,
Okay.
it's best to consult a professional.
So don't try to fix it myself.
Probably not a good idea.
All right, so it sounds like a little TLC goes a long way
It really does.
when it comes to e-bike
A
batteries.
little bit of care can make a big difference.
So those are some good tips to keep in mind.
It really does.
Yeah.
Just like anything else.
Yeah.
A little bit of preventative maintenance goes a long way.
Totally.
Use the right charger.
Right.
Don't overcharge it. Be mindful of where you store it.
Yeah.
Keep it topped up.
Keep it happy.
Exactly. And just give it a quick check every now and then.
Yeah.
Those simple steps will not only prolong the life of your battery,
Yeah.
but they'll also keep you safer
That's key.
and make your riding experience more enjoyable.
For sure. So, big picture,
Yeah.
we've covered a lot of ground today. We talked about all the different types of batteries,
all the octaves.
Li-ion, LiFePO4,
Yep.
NIM-MH, lead acid.
Mm-hmm.
We really dug into like how to choose the right one,
Yeah,
thinking about your needs, your riding style,
absolutely.
and then of course, how to keep that battery in tip-top shape.
Right. Maintenance is key.
What's the one thing you really want our listeners to walk away with today?
I think the most important takeaway is that there's really a perfect e-bike battery out there for everyone.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're, just a casual rider
Yeah.
or someone who's, hitting the trails every weekend.
Yeah, like whatever you're left with.
Exactly. There's a battery that's perfect for you.
And it's just about like figuring out what you need and doing a little research.
A little bit of homework.
Yeah.
But once you know what to look for,
Yeah.
it's easy to find the right one.
And the cool thing is technology's always changing.
Oh, absolutely.
So who knows what the future holds for e-bike battery?
Right. It's exciting to think about.
Imagine like lighter batteries, faster charging,
Yeah.
maybe even batteries that can like charge themselves somehow.
Like solar powered or something.
That would be amazing.
That would be a game changer.
I know. What kind of advancements would you like to see?
Oh, man, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
I think for me, it would be all about range.
Okay.
Like being able to go farther on a single charge,
Yeah.
that would be incredible.
Yeah, I mean, that's the dream, right?
That's the dream.
No more range anxiety.
Exactly. Just freedom to ride.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, listeners, we want to hear from you.
Yeah. Let us know.
What kind of advancements are you hoping for?
What would make your e-biking experience even better?
Hit us up on social media, leave a comment.
We love hearing from you guys.
And if you want to learn more about e-bike batteries,
Yeah.
be sure to check out the show notes.
All the links are there.
We've got the full article that we talked about today.
Yep, and some other resources too.
So thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the world of e-bike batteries.
Always a pleasure.
Until next time, happy ride, everyone.